What's up, sassy gamers? Today is April 28th, 2022, and this is Got Our Attention Podcast, Season 2, Episode 46. We're almost to 52, which will be our 2 years. So that's coming up.
Math.
I'm here with Kelly, Bruno, and Brine, right? Is that you guys?
Hello.
Well, that
Just
seems
sure.
like all of us, yes.
Just making sure we didn't have an impostor.
Right now.
Sometimes, I've played Among Us. I know how it goes.
Sus.
I'm actually Thomas.
That's
There you go. Last name, don't want to give it away.
You can dox me if you'd like. I'm Thomas Adderson. That's ADDERSONE.
Junior, though, right?
Junior. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
My father passed away in a very horrible car accident in his 2017 Hyundai Sonata.
Yep. There's a whole story there. Don't even right now. That we don't have time for this long, novel.
okay. So just for some, good God, man. What?
Something.
I love how
Question
we
mark?
just threw him off. Yeah, it's great. Okay.
Well, it didn't help that I'm doing stuff in the background and listening with half an ear, drinking one of my favorite drinks. What is my favorite drink, Mike?
Vodka soda.
Oh my God. Stop it. Everybody knows it's
Rum and
tonic
Coke.
gin.
Oh, disgusting. Gin? God, it's like snorting a Christmas tree.
It's obviously it's
First
rum
of all,
and
I'm
Coke.
not sure you know how to drink a gin and tonic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
I do. I
I like
pour it
gin and
out
tonic.
over my bushes and get something real in my cup. So yeah, I do drink rum and Cokes, and to do that, you have to get Coca-Colas. Coke part is optional. Some people do still enjoy that in their Coke. And
As
I
Bruno
forget-
drinks a Coca-Cola.
So I go out to the store to get some Coca-Colas, and I found some Coca-Colas. I found Space Coke.
Oh God.
What
Did
is
you
that?
have you tried it yet? I have not tried it yet.
What is the difference with Space Coke?
Starlight.
Starlight, and it
It's-
literally says at the bottom, space flavored.
So
So what does
Kid
space
you not.
taste like?
that's like a question.
I have not opened this yet.
Okay. Ooh.
So I just had a drink from my rum and Coke. So that should
I wonder,
set
Cleanse
me
your
to-
palate.
man, maybe I should go drink my
Pretty much.
coffee Coke that I have downstairs if we're doing this right now. I
That's
didn't
the
realize.
coffee Coke I actually like. I
That's
I will
really
wait.
good.
I will
that
wait.
one's good.
I will wait.
I
if
don't.
you
I
want
don't
to get that.
I honestly
That's
don't know if I
good.
still have one because I definitely
Oh, okay.
I drink them because they were good.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it
it
is
smells-
the coffee Coke is delicious. So I'm just
I mean, it
curious what
smells like
flavor
Coke.
Space is.
That's why I got
Yeah.
this. It's like, what is the space
Yeah,
flavor
I
here?
did see that.
It smells like Coke. It smells normal.
Okay.
Oh,
So space
this
tastes
is
like
the Coke that Elon Musk wants to bring back, the old Coke.
No.
So this has actually got
Oh,
cocaine in it.
No. Oh yeah.
This
We'll
is
just
space
talk
Coke.
about that
That'd be spacey.
tweet.
Wow, that's weird. It's like
It's never a thing I like to say when I drink something.
He just stops and he goes, yeah, it tastes
Wow,
so
good."
it's like if you took Coca-Cola, and took a lot of the flavor out of it.
So you're drinking a Pepsi.
Oh, good.
So
And
it
then
tastes
it's got-
like emptiness. Got it.
No, but then
Makes
it's got
sense.
it's the most prevalent flavor I've tasted. I think is like a caramel,
Okay.
and
That's fair.
oddly enough, it
So-
almost has a smoky back end like a Scotch. Like I could see like if you had a blended Scotch or a cheaper Scotch, I could see it with this.
Like smoky? Like it's
So
Why do they call it space?
yeah, what's the space in it?
I have no clue. What does space taste like? Come on, no one knows. They can put any flavor in here and call it space.
don't stick your
Why not
tongue
call
out.
it Coke Caramel? That sounds
With
fine.
smoky flavors.
Okay,
No,
hold on.
it's like
Includes
more
additional
reddish
notes
than normal.
reminiscent of stargazing around a campfire,
Smoky.
as well
So the
as
smoky.
a cooling sensation that evokes a feeling of a cold journey to space.
I think there's
Wow.
a little bit of cherry in it too, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so it tastes like minty cotton candy sprinkled with vanilla and has a sort of red tint. It's pleasantly
It does
sweet
have a
and
red tint.
candy-like and just a bit fruity, which is excellent if that's what you're going for. I am reading directly from
Pepsi's website.
Article. Nope. The foodnetwork.com article titled Coca-Cola launches new Starlight flavor and it tastes like space candy.
I get a little bit of the cotton candy now afterwards, like at the end of it, along with
should
the
all
smoke.
see
So I
Coca-Cola.
kind of see where that's coming from. That's probably what I was thinking of with caramel. It's probably the vanilla
Or-
leading into that. I
yeah.
was for some reason
Sounds like
thinking
false
it definitely has a
advertising.
red.
It
Definitely
does.
has a red tint though, because I
don't think
looked
that's what
down. I was
taste
like, "Oh, that's
space
weird."
tastes like. But
Maybe they're
So it's
saying
funny-
Elon Musk is going to buy Coca-Cola.
Some
Maybe
aliens
that's-
are going to show up and be like, this is what actual space candy tastes like. I'm going to be like, wow, thanks, Coca-Cola. It tasted nothing like this.
That's why they're going to come.
Very weird tasting. That is for sure. It's,
They've actually been here the whole time, and that's going to be the thing that pushes them over the edge. Like, we're trying to
all
avoid
right,
you.
we're done here.
But then you went and you lied about what space candy tastes like.
and it's a
That's where we draw the
super,
line in space.
Cool can.
Super
though.
can.
tiny.
It is
Yeah,
a
it's
cool
a
can.
tiny can. It's only 7.5 ounces.
Isn't that what the
Not a lot of
usual
space in there.
little guys are?
Yeah, it's a mini.
Got 'em.
Tiny.
It's a mini.
Can, yeah.
That's why it's called space.
I think they used to be 8 ounces, but because of inflation, it's now a 7.5 ounce can. Just like the 7-ounce cheese that I bought that looks like it's in the 8-ounce bag.
But
Not
it's
okay,
a 7.5
Sargento.
Can that costs
Not
twice as
okay.
much.
Yeah.
Oh my.
It's amazing how easy it is to like change the printing on the bag,
Yes.
and then all of a sudden you're saving money. I mean, hey,
No, you're not
McDonald's,
saving money. You're
Not
giving
you, the
people
company.
less.
The company is saving money.
Yeah, okay,
well,
so-
not even. They're making
Yeah.
more money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something like
Somebody's
Well, it's
making
like McDonald's did that like years and years and years ago. They like took off the extra slice of cheese, and they went down to one slice of cheese
that's
and saved
right.
like millions of dollars a year.
That's a true story.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
This is
pour
like
the
a
rest of it.
completely. This is a tangent at this
Very
point.
red.
But do you remember like the movies Coming to America?
Yeah.
Yes.
Eddie Murphy. Okay, so we're all on the same page, and how like the guy has like his version of McDonald's.
Yeah,
Did you
McDowell's.
guys know McDowell's? Did you know that somebody actually made that in real life? That like
What?
that is a thing that exists and it's
Oh,
totally
that's
legal.
hilarious.
Really?
Yeah, I saw a
didn't know that.
TikTok of it where like there's this guy who does he like goes around and he does like professional advertisement videos for people for free. So he just walks into business, he walked in this place and they were making like these crazy burgers. Like one of them was like a waffle burger. So it was like a burger on waffles with it was like a chicken and waffle kind of burger with like
That-
gravy and everything on it. It looked amazing.
Totally in for that.
And
Totally
he, like,
in for
That
built
that.
this
sounds
whole
good.
thing, and
I'm
I was
down.
like, it was like
Keep
these
describing
weird
it.
arches for the logo, and I was like, that almost looks like McDonald's. And like he actually called it something. I think it was like called like McDonnie's or something because that was the guy's name. And like I was laughing so hard, but also the food looked so legit. And the only thing that makes me sad is that's in California, so I'll probably not be able to eat that anytime soon.
Just like
It's
in and
unfortunate.
I was like, damn, somebody just went and did it though.
out. Nice.
And of course, you saying McDonald's reminded me of
McDonnie's. Love it.
McDonald's.
Hey, Kelly, do you have something in your corner today?
I do have something in my corner today.
Might
I just want to point out the fact that Brine was like spot on with that cue. Like he played it. I didn't even get the lag that I'm used to having, the Brine lag. Like he
I was
is.
going to point out that
That
you
Space
wasted
Coke
it
is-
all by jumping into this segment about how he was spot on with it. All right,
Man,
now
that
he's got this
Space
whole
Coke has
delay,
got him.
and he's going to have to do it all over again.
Well, I do have one story for you. I'm pretty sure you all have heard about it. You may know a lot about it. You may know. Oh, well, it sounds like some of us don't know anything about it, which is going to be good. You're in for a treat.
I'm super ignorant.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
No, Bruno, I know you're all over this one. So there was a wedding reception in, of all places, Florida on February 19th. And a woman named Danya Glenny, now, or Danya Silvadeski, or
Doesn't matter.
blah, 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 blah. she's the blushing bride. She's there.
Yeah, she is.
At her wedding, they had about 50 people. And one of her, the different articles are citing this person as not necessarily a friend. Some say it's a friend. Some say it's a friend of a friend. Walks up to her and says, "Is there pot in the food?" This is not a direct quote. And she looks at her and like shakes her head yes. And she's like she doesn't believe her. She goes and she starts eating, and I think she ate some French bread dipped in in olive
Butter.
oil, garlic, butter, olive oil, Italian herb seasoning thing. And her name, Miranda Katie is her name. And she eats it and then kind of starts feeling funny. And then goes up to her and she's like, or tastes it and goes, "Seriously, Dania, is there pot in the food?" And she's like excited, yeah, she just gave her a gift, right? It was like she's gonna be so happy that there's pot in this food, right?
Oh my God.
But her grandparents are there, her aunts and her uncles are there. I think her child was there.
Oh my God.
It gets worse.
Up until the child, it was okay because Granny and Grandpa, they could probably use a little bit of this.
I mean,
Except
I have some very
mm-hmm.
I mean, considering I work for a cannabis-based company, and I can say that one of the things that we obviously promote is people who want to smoke weed should be allowed to do so. But another thing
Absolutely.
is nobody should smoke weed without the intention to do it, because as great as weed can be for a lot of people, it is cripplingly bad.
Yes.
For other people, especially anybody who has anxiety disorders. So that's a risky thing to do at a wedding.
Well, that, and
Or
not even
any-
talking about not even talking about the job implications. Some people have security clearances and drug tests that have to be abided by. And imagine failing because you ate something you didn't even know you were eating. Anyway, continue.
Total
Sorry.
attack. Yeah.
Well, Miranda at one point started feeling her heart racing and actually thought she was going to die. Went to her car.
Speaking of panic attack.
And texted herself so that people would know what had happened. She was losing her mind. One of Dania's family members, ex-family members. Yeah, soon to be ex. It happens. She, older woman, was getting so paranoid and was having these really crazy thoughts that she thought her son-in-law had died and that everybody knew, but that nobody was telling her the truth. That's how panicked she started getting.
Oh my God.
Some of
Sounds
these
like
stories,
more than pot in the food.
Yeah. Well, so if you've ever smoked pot and eaten pot, there's a difference, right? It's the way that your liver starts metabolizing it. It's much more euphoric. It starts acting differently than just smoking it, right? So it can have some more other severe side effects.
Oh,
and I
for
know,
sure.
Yeah, some people will. There are some medications that specifically state, heart medications that state, do not take this and smoke pot or eat cannabis. So that's a big freaking problem. And so she didn't ask anybody, right? So
That's
the
wild.
caterer, her name is, one sec. Sorry, I had this all lined up. Jocelyn Bryant, and her catering company is Jocelyn's Southern Kitchen in Orlando. She was seen going up to the dishes and pouring a green substance in the olive oil. Well, so they're testing all of the food now, trying to determine exactly where it came from and what happened. But it does look like she was behind it too. She and the caterer, the caterer and the bride were both arrested because of the information that they got, not just from Miranda Katie, but also from the catering company staff or some of the staff. And somebody walked up to one of the staff and said, is there something in the food? Like, I'm feeling a little weird. And one of the staff members goes, yeah, there's cannabis in the food. Like, duh. Like, doesn't everybody know this? Well, just very recently, the Seminole County, Florida police have
this is in Florida. Oh, God,
Yeah,
right. So this is not a legal thing that you can do.
No.
Yeah.
They have recently just released video from the, I can't call it dash cam video. What's the body cam video? And they walk up to the couple, and the husband whose face is blurred out, he's like, they go, did you know that there's anything in the food? And then he says, I literally just walked my daughter home and came back, and I saw all of these cars here. And you got to see the video, because the now wife is like looking up at him, and she's smiling ear to ear the whole time, but she's being completely silent, clearly stoned off her ass, completely silent. But you can tell, like, in her face. The cop keeps asking, are you sure? Do you know? Are you sure? I'm going to need your licenses. Do you know? And she doesn't say anything, but she just sits there and smiles. So they are charged with food tampering and delivery of marijuana. Those are both felonies, as well as negligence and a misdemeanor.
Whoa. Food tampering is a felony offense? Yes. Or that's food felony with marijuana? You're saying that's two separate...
Food tampering, I think on its own is a felony offense.
That's impressive. I would have never thought that would be like a felony. I mean, not that I would think people would do that.
Actually, weirdly, I know why this is. There was actually, I think it was in either the 80s or the 90s. There was like essentially an epidemic of people going to grocery stores and tampering with food to make people sick. And at that point in time, the federal government was like, well, we need to be harsh on this, because it wasn't something they thought of until buying food from groceries became super mainstream and you could buy so many different prepackaged items. So they were like, this is literally a felony offense now. Like, it's a federal offense to tamper with food in any shape or form.
Wow. So the whole ice cream lickers in the 2020s or whatever, people on TikTok or whatever licking ice cream and putting it back.
That's actually like
that's not cool. Why would you do that in the first place?
Because people are dumb.
Are dicks.
Well, like, that was the whole thing.
People think it's funny to be a dick.
Ariana Grande, when she was younger, she was like video doing that exactly. She went to like, I think it was like a donut shop or something, and when they weren't looking, she licked all the donuts.
Oh my God. So I guess that makes sense why they have like the seals that says like, if this seal is tampered, like don't.
Yep.
Oh wow. Look at
It
that.
used to not be like that.
Those seals came about from the Tylenol scares.
The aspirin.
Yeah. Not only are we fun, we're educational. Like, look at this. This is.
You're welcome.
Wow. If only she did this in like Colorado or something, she may have gotten away with a little bit more.
I don't even think so. I think still at that point, I think it may have been worse in Colorado, first of all, because
I don't.
Like Bruno was saying, like you have to be able to give your own consent. And all these people who may have been taking some medication that cannot be mixed with it, and like you said, have jobs, and what are you going to do? I'm sorry, I went to a wedding. If I test positive, it's because I was at a wedding and they served me pot food.
Yeah, like, they don't care.
Okay, sure. Okay, right. Oh,
yeah, that's
sure,
honestly
wild.
I feel like the more cannabis enthusiasts you were to have around you in an event like that, probably the more flack you would get from the people there, because they'd be like, "Yo, what are you doing?"
Yeah, like, why didn't you tell me this? So, like, that's
like, this is not something you do to random people.
Yeah,
or,
that's wild.
People at all, like, if you're throwing a party for a bunch of stoners, go ham.
Yeah.
I mean, like, everybody's there for a reason, but you can't go giving like 90-year-olds cannabis for the first time in their life, where you're like trying to put somebody in a box on their way home, like,
or just anybody. I mean, that's just crazy.
That's
poor
just
taste.
Cruel. Yeah.
Well,
one of the guys.
There's some high idea that they had.
There's all these high people, right? All these super stone folks. who some of them have been stoned before. One of the articles I read was this guy was like, I know what this feeling is. There's something in here. And he's the one who called the cops. He was like, this is not
Oh,
okay.
Jesus.
I don't know what's going
Good,
on.
though. Good for him.
Another guy was trying to call an Uber and was like having trouble. And he was like, something's wrong here.
Well, imagine like if you did, like, it wasn't for that guy who called. Imagine people who had never experienced that at all. Like you said, are freaking out, having a panic attack, don't even know, like.
Yeah,
Oof, man.
Like you said, like the guy who couldn't order an Uber is probably somebody who had never done anything
that's
cannabis
crazy
related in their lives. And like when you suddenly start feeling weird, you start second guessing like what's going on, like overcompensating for things. Like, you know, it's a wild story.
That is wild.
What an interesting way to start off your married life.
Right? Oh my god.
Or ex-married life at this point.
The last thing I'll say about it is on the cop's dash cam, this guy walks up to him and he's like, "Hey man, like I don't know what to do right now. Like what's going on? What should I do?" He's like, "I mean, you should. The one thing I can tell you is you probably shouldn't drive home. You should probably call an Uber." Like, oh yeah, good.
Yeah, totally, dude. I'm gonna go back here and actually eat the rest of this food. Not this food, but like
not this food, because I need some food right now.
Good God, people are crazy. All right, well, this episode is brought to you by Brian. Now, it's interesting. This is not going to be a news podcast today necessarily. We're going to be talking about our PAX East recap that me and Brian just got back from over the last week of our PAX experience. So we're going to get into that. I know we talked to you guys last Thursday. It was actually opening day of PAX, which at that time, only a little bit of things have happened. We had just basically, we talked about meeting Skyrim Shirley, or Grandma Shirley, on Wednesday, just picking up our bracelets, just trying to get checked in so that way we were ready on Thursday. So we already knew at that point it was going to be a great experience, just like running into somebody that, we've watched videos of and just, and thoroughly enjoy. And then she just happened to be that exact person that we thoroughly enjoyed in person, which was really cool. So that kind of started it off. And then Thursday, before we actually had the podcast, was the opening day, and they had the panel of the opening PAX panel. And this year was featuring Alana Pearce. Story time. Yeah, story time with Alana Pearce. And I'm sure Brian can fill you in on Alana Pearce. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, she's just been in the industry for a while, and she had recognized at an early age that she wanted to be in the industry. And I mean, the people that put on PAX asked her to like kind of open the show, which floored her. And she was just stunned. She couldn't believe it. And that is a great description of this woman, that she's done so much, and she's like worked really hard to get where she is. Really hard. And is still kind of like just shocked when some of these good things happen to her. And she essentially, the story times are just pretty much whatever almost like people really want to talk about.
It's like a moth radio,
moth radio hour.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah, it's really whatever they want to talk about, but it's usually something about the gaming industry. The Bethesda one was great back in the day. They talked about the armor DLC, one of the first DLCs, horse armor. But she was able to talk about how she realized she wanted to be in the game industry and how she got into the gaming industry. People should go out and watch it. It is on the PAX Twitch channel. It's on day one for PAX East 2022. And she pretty much starts at 7 years old saying, "Hey, I wanted to be a writer."
Yeah.
And I really like video games. And one of the things she said is like, "Hey, everybody in the room here, pretty much y'all like video games. So you got half the equation." She goes, the other half of the equation is not forcing yourself into a particular job because you think that is how you're going to get into video games, but rather finding the thing that you're good at that's not video games and combine it with video games, and then going out and finding or even inventing the job that combines those two things. She did go and review games at a point in time because she was already a writer. She's like, if you don't like writing and you're not a writer, she goes, don't review games. Because primary component is the
That's
writing.
kind of what you have to do.
Yeah.
It's like,
And it's
Yeah.
it's interesting because not only her panel, but another panel that we watched, or I watched as well, kind of talked about journalism and gaming, and they were saying like, they don't get paid, and that was actually a question I was gonna want to ask them, but they unfortunately didn't have time to answer questions. But I was kind of wondering, because I'm not a journalist, I didn't go to school for journalism. I wonder if there's like a big discrepancy between regular journalism, like writing for a paper at a news outlet or whatever, versus like someone who's trying to get into the game industry. Like, do you find internships and paid, or like is it just like gaming is like, oh, we don't want to pay anybody? Like it was just weird. I was just like kind of floored about that.
Even that, there isn't regular journalism writing for a newspaper, because for a newspaper, a lot of their stuff is freelance, and they only have a couple of like staff writers.
Right.
They usually will get freelance a lot more, and that's also why you can see those bylines in different newspapers and stuff. But she goes through all that through her time at Funhouse and Rooster Teeth. And finally, now she works as a writer for Sony Santa Monica, which is the studio that, among other things, God of War comes out of.
Yep.
And the other reason why I say go watch it is because she's got this really cool thing of like, she's identifying certain years. Like, here's how I was 7 years old. Here's when I was this age. And this is what was important this year. And each time she's talking about what was important in her journey. But she was also highlighting what an important game that got released that year was, that meant a lot to her.
Yeah.
So that was a very fun part of it.
Very good story time. I would definitely say go watch the video. It was definitely worth it. She's obviously a writer, so she's she enunciates her words very well. She tells a really good story, and her story is actually pretty interesting. Yeah, enunciates.
And she drops the F-bomb.
Oh yeah, she definitely drops.
And
the
she's
F-bomb.
Australian, so she's got the good accent, and she does talk about how she was able to get where she was in Australia and then go, well, I need to go to the States now if I'm going to continue to do this, and how she's kind of moved to the States. And
so that was super cool for like opening really my first PAX, right? Like my first opening panel essentially. And it was just like, we had Grandma Shirley, we have Alana Pearce, and like, here we go. Now it's time to let's do this. So, it was interesting because, so the other couple of things we noticed there, obviously there's all the independent developers we met, all the different games. We'll talk about some of those later. But there was just the whole experience of being on the expo floor of just, a lot of people just like you walking around trying to experience these new things, either new, or maybe things you've already heard about that are still in the works. Like, for example, Baldur's Gate 3 was there, had a huge panel booth that people could test out the new gameplay from whatever the newest release is. And, so that's something we've heard of already, while there's other independent developers that have like all these games that are either like almost released or maybe not even, more of just like a play test. Like we're still in developmental stages of just getting this out the door, but it was really cool. All of that's cool. Tabletop area, being able to play some tabletop card games that necessarily weren't out there for everyone to play, and some that were. It was also pretty neat. And then obviously there's other panels that we attended as well. But some of the other things that were interesting.
I got to play an alpha card game. Like it had it didn't have any artwork on the cards. It was just the basic description and text. And a color across of it. So we were not only did we get to play it, but he was literally alpha testing with us and asking us questions. And he asked my opponent, he goes, well, so why didn't you read the bottom of that text there of how he could negate that? Was it too long? And she's like, well, I mean, yeah, but also it didn't really apply to me. So I just kind of skipped it. And I looked at the guy and I said, well, you already have this thing that says play effect, and it says what happens when you play the card. I said, below that, put negation effect or negation, trigger or whatever you want, condition, and put how to negate it underneath that. And then I said, even better, flip the text upside down. So when she plays the card, she sees plays effect, and I can perfectly read the negate effect on it super easy. And like
this is how we was lost Brian to card game creation. I mean, I won't having you, Brian.
Yeah, he was.
Remember us when you're famous.
He was floored and literally was scribbling and writing down and thought it was a fantastic idea. So if that comes out with that game, I'm going to show it to people. Sorry.
Yeah. So no, that's fun. So like I said, all of the meeting the developers and hanging out with people making games and like that's 65% I would say of PAX, like going and experiencing that. Because that's open every day. Like the expo hall is there every day, and you just go and try to experience that.
The expo floor, I've called it this before, and would you agree? It's like Las Vegas for nerds.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just a big strip that you're just like kind of walking back and forth all day.
Bright lights, lots of people.
So one of the other highlights for us as SAS Gaming was the actual Voodoo Ranger bar, which was super exciting, which Voodoo and New Belgium like Ranger. But that actually wasn't the highlight part. The highlight part was that inside that area was the Able Gamers booth. So Able Gamers is the charity that we typically sponsor during, or we raise money for during our Shocktober event that we've been doing now for, this will be our 3rd year. And it was really cool to like meet some of the people there. And we walked up and we were like, hey, we're SAS Gaming. Like, we really love you guys and blah, blah, blah. And they were like, wow,
it's better.
Wait, they were like, SAS Gaming. Like I was like, yeah, we raised money for streaming.
Cards.
Yeah.
Gave them the cards.
And I was like, we raised money for you guys on Tiltify during Shocktober. And they're like, oh my God, I know who you guys are. Like, we saw you guys that you raised money for us. Like, we saw that on the board. And I was just like, oh my God.
It from the logo.
Like, yeah, they were like, oh yeah, this fish, like absolutely know the fish. So it was really cool at that point. They were just like, here, take this. Here, you want this? Here, take this. And I'm like, okay, I'll just take all this stuff. Okay, cool. So really neat people.
To be clear, we didn't just take stuff. We also made donations while we were there.
Well, you may have made a donation. I didn't make a donation, but technically I did because I bought
several donations.
I actually bought an Able Gamers hoodie, so it's I'll wear that eventually. It's like a raincoat.
There you go. You did a donation.
But yeah, it was really neat to meet them. Hopefully, we'll stay in contact because obviously it's a charity that I definitely love supporting, and obviously we'll do Shocktober going in the future. So another cool thing that was just kind of to me it was like almost like a side quest because we were there at the bar and all of a sudden like, hey, they're here, and just kind of talk to them. And awesome. Then so going back to Grandma Shirley, Skyrim Shirley, she actually had her own panel too, which was interesting because the whole Skyrim thing to her is like her life. Like, this is her role playing adventure that she just narrates, and everything is great. And to her to come to PAX, and writes books on, and for her to come to PAX was like almost an experience for herself. Like, she just couldn't believe that like people wanted to listen to her and meet her and and everything.
And this was not a small panel room. I think this panel room probably held 500 plus people, and she just looked around.
And she
goes, I can't believe all of you wanted to come out here and talk to me. She's the
she's super funny.
Oh my God. She has almost 1 million followers, and she's shocked that people want to come see her. I love
and
that.
She's like, and she goes through her panel, talks about some of her adventures and why, and but the main thing that she kept talking about was that she just wants things to be more spooky. She's like, I just want things to be scarier, and we're like, what? And she's like, so she would say something else, and then it'd come back to
we weren't like what?
Yeah, well, it always come back to her wanting to play a spooky game. And it actually, at some points, I would be like, don't do it. And then she'd laugh, and I would just be like, because like literally me, like, I don't want to do that.
Which she thought was friggin' hilarious.
Yeah, she kept laughing because I'm like, I know you don't know me, but like, I'm telling you don't want to play scary games. But she's like all about it. That's what she wants. Like, she said, like, if they could make Elder Scrolls 6, like, what would be something they could do to make it better? And she's like, make it scarier. Like, she wants like more scary things. I'm like, what the heck? When she opened it up for questions, the first question I said was, I just raised my hand because they didn't really say like they were going to have, we were kind of in the front too. So I didn't see there was a microphone already. I just kind of like, she asked for questions. I raised my hand. She said, sure. And I said, so why do you play Phasmophobia, and why did you uninstall it, or something like that? And she didn't catch it at first. And when I told her, I said, there's a game called Phasmophobia. It's like a ghost hunting game. You can play up to 4 players. Very, very spooky, scary. I hate it because I hate scary games. But I think it's something that you'd be interested in. And she was like, oh, cool. Well, you'll have to let me know that later, like after the panel, like remind me what that is, because I want to check it out. And then some of the other panel questions they were talking about and saying like, oh yeah, Phasmophobia is a great one. There's some other ones they talked about. So it was pretty interesting. So actually I did tell her Phasmophobia and gave her the link, and she said she's going to check it out. And I was like super excited just to see if she, maybe one day we'll see her stream with her playing. It'd be hilarious. But But yeah, so that was something that she said. Another thing she mentioned was that she's actually met Todd Howard and she's talked to them or something. And apparently, I don't know if this is necessarily for the record from her saying to the panel. I can't remember if she said this to the panel or not. But she did say that she would be featured basically in Elder Scrolls 6. Because I mentioned today there was a mod that actually had her that she actually voiced for. Like she actually has her own voice to carry on in this mod for the game. So if you want to keep her with you forever, you can. Yeah. But she did mention that they're actually going to have her in Elder Scrolls 6 if they ever release it. Is what she said.
So along that same vein with Shirley Curry, Skyrim Grandma being in Elder Scrolls 6, interestingly enough, Alana Pearce was a quest giver in Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, cool.
Oh, right. Yeah.
In fact, they scanned her body. And she went and when she played the game, she was like, okay, that's crazy amount of detail. She's like, there's like, I don't know whether it was a mole or something. She's like, there's a thing right here. And it's like, and it was there on the model. So she was kind of like, that's crazy level of detail. She was super stoked.
Yeah. So obviously, like I said, meeting her and then going to her panel. And then she also had like an autograph session that was crazy for her too, because she couldn't believe the reception that she got from all the people wanting to meet her. So anyway, really cool highlight. But overall, I mean, PAX to me East is definitely not a Dragon Con. They're two separate cons in their own. I can't compare them. It's like apples to oranges. Yeah. I think they both have things that I really, really enjoyed, and I won't be able to really get from either the other one. So definitely add it to my list of conventions to go to in the future. It was an experience of just traveling, going to Boston, never been to Boston before, and just kind of doing the whole thing. From start to finish, like every day we'd go to the convention, get done, and we go to the Weston bar and hang out with, people in the industry or the people who are visiting. And it was just a fun experience. So, and this was a year that wasn't a large year. This was Nintendo wasn't there. Microsoft wasn't there. The bigger names this year were like EA, Intel, Blizzard, Discord, Larian Studios was the other, like probably big developer there this year. And even with that, like it still felt very organic, almost like very a young indie. So it was cool.
Yeah. Apogee, if you can call them big, kind of medium-ish.
So was Larian Studios showing off anything in particular?
Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah. They had like a huge castle built, and it was just like you had a huge line of people just wanting to play. And that was basically it. Couldn't even really get in to see it because like it was kind of all ripped off on their section. So. But yeah, so that was PAX 2022, PAX East 2022. Super excited about that. Give us a few minutes here. We're going to come back and talk about some of the things that we're looking forward to in the gaming. And we're back. So some of the games and things that were coming up that we talked about at PAX, we want to talk about those a little more in detail here. Some of the ones that were highlighted for us, so one of the first ones that I have on my list,
near and dear to Mike's heart,
very much so, is a game that we never actually played. We walked up to the booth, we talked to the people that were behind the. I don't know if they were developers or not. I didn't know if I asked them if they were the ones who created the game. But obviously they knew everything about it. They told us about the game and said like it's called Drinks and Daggers, and it's a co-op game. So it's a card game. Like it. I know it's great. So it's a card game, and what it is it's a co-op. So they said there's 8 characters in the box. You typically you shouldn't play more than 4. You can, but it's just the turns. It's a drinking game. So the longer you have more people, the longer it takes to play, and people forget and whatever. But like 4 is the sweet spot, is what they said essentially. And but each character is based on like D&D. It's actually based on a D&D podcast. Called God, if you would have asked me, if I wouldn't have thought about it, I'd tell you. But it's basically based on these characters from this from this D&D podcast. And so there's like a barbarian, there's like different classes, barbarian, there's the paladins, there's like the just all these different things, wizards, mages. And what was interesting was that during this time you could obviously pick whatever class you wanted to, whatever deck that you wanted to start the game with. And you could pick whatever boss that you wanted to fight. And they were like, there's a normal side and then there's a hard side. So they're like, when you first start, you probably want to play normal and, see how the game goes. And then you can play hard or whatever. So fast forward.
We're not
Lying.
shitting. And there's a couple of things that he said really quickly there, but I want to say is one of the things is, again, it's not a deck building game. They kept this easy in certain ways where you pick a character, you get that character's deck, and that's what you're going to play with. So there's very little setup.
Yeah. So we basically break it all out and we start to play with the people that we were with. We had like five people total. And this is us not playing it before, not even seeing it being played. Took the instructions. And we're like, we're going to just play through this. And pretty simple. So again, co-op game. The first turn, you flip a card for the enemy. Enemy does something. At that point, then you have a reaction phase. There's cards that have reactions, and you play your reactions during that phase. The interesting part about reactions is that I could play a reaction on an action, right? Well, my reaction may say, instead of drinking this drink, I'm not going to drink it. I'm going to send it to Daydrinker. And then Daydrinker's like, please send me the drink.
And she may have a reaction that allows her to heal the entire party.
Right. If she takes a drink,
And
she gets to heal the party.
This is why I like this game, is because when it's Mike's turn on a normal game, everybody's all like, oh, let me check my phone and I'm looking around here and I'm having a discussion. No, like seriously, you have to pay attention because you can do things on other people's turns, and multiple people can do things on other people's turns. And it's necessary because the bosses are so hard that you've got to do it. You've got to be on your game.
And when he says hard, so the other part about the character has a normal, like you're standing upside, and then there's the smash state. So if you flip the card over, you're smashed. And typically in D&D, you have health points and whatever. When your hit points get down to 0, you're basically unconscious. And then you have to wait for somebody to revive you, basically get you some HP. Well, in this game, when you go to 0, you flip your card over and now you're smashed. And then at that point, you have so many hit points based on your card. And when you get to 0 on that,
you have less.
Sometimes you have less. Sometimes you may have the same. It just depends on the character. But you get down to 0.
I think all of them had less, but one of them went to 8 instead of 6.
No, there was 10 and 10. I had a card that literally had 10 and 10. It just depends on the character. But when you get down to 0 on the smash state, then you go unconscious and literally you can't do anything until someone can heal you. And we found that out pretty quick because literally some people had started with 6 health points, hit points, maybe 8, and the boss would do like 6 points of damage in one turn, and literally would take down like half the party. And we're like, oh my god! So we played the first game. It probably took us about roughly 45 minutes to an hour because we were learning, and we barely won. Like it was the point where everybody was down except one person, and that one person had just enough to get one other person up. And then that person would get up, do something and die, and do something and die, and do something. And it was just like constantly just barely staying in the game. So I played this a few other times. I actually went to Voodoo Ranger, like the bar area. And I was like, hey, you guys want to play a game? And they're like, you must work for this company. I'm like, no, I don't, but it's a really fun game. I just bought it. It's really cool. So I ended up playing with some random strangers, taught them the game. They all had a blast. And it was just a really fun game to drink with. And I will say there actually is a sober mode. So they actually give you tokens that have little drinks on them so that if you want to play sober, you can actually just give people drinks. And the object of that is if the end of the game, whoever has the least amount of drink tokens is like the winner, essentially, who's not smashed. Right. So really cool game. I wanted to talk about it because it's something that I can't wait to play with like you guys as a group or even other people that we hang out with.
The least smashed person's the winner. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't agree with that either, but
it's
in the rule book.
The most smashed person is definitely
always the winner.
Yeah.
Currently, it's $40 on Amazon, and there are definitely some expansions already released for it.
You can buy it directly from them and get the combo, which is the game and the allies expansion, basically 4 more characters and a boss for like $50. So cheaper to buy it from them. You obviously give it to them, and they also bundle it for you too, which is cool.
I actually
Greetings, Adventurer. That's the podcast. Sorry, that's the D&D podcast. I just thought about it.
I actually got to look at a cool little game, also in the RPG vein. This was a video game, and this one is also a game that
potato. Potato.
This is also an RPG game that's out there. Very fun. It happens to be a video game, civic card game, also released as well. I think currently $30, but very neat, called Demeo. And Demeo is this game where it's almost like you're playing with miniatures. You literally pick them up and put them where you want them to be to move them and to attack.
Did somebody say miniatures?
Just like miniatures.
And this is a VR game, correct?
No, this is just a game.
Well,
Oh, weird. I thought I saw. Well, I think this
it's
video
a
shows
VR.
like VR.
Yeah.
But I played it without VR. It plays up to
Yeah.
4 players, local or internet, and it's got this above the table type perspective, which is again kind of reinforces. Yeah, they're playing VR there. That's for sure. So it looks like it is VR enabled as well, but we played it non VR, and it really makes you think you're playing a game with miniatures. It's got these different classes as it would have, and you have cards that you use for your special abilities, like the poison bomb, or your bard does a music hurricane that moves around randomly. Very fun little game. I know I played it at least twice because me and my wife played it one time, and then we brought our friend back to play it a second time and got to play it actually a little bit longer that time. It even has this fun little thing that you can find a thing called a bone. You can take the bone, you can throw it.
Can you find a bone?
You can find a bone. You can take it and you can throw it at a monster, and it does a little bit of damage and taunts them, so they want to attack you, right? That's what the card says. The interesting thing, though, is if you do that and the monster you're doing that is a dog, instead of taunting them, they now become your friend and they fight for you.
Oh, nice.
So that's a cool little thing that we found. Because kind of
Can you pet the dog?
I don't think so. I do not think you can pet the dog.
You didn't do enough research. You need to go back and do it again.
No, you can't. It's
I
funny,
did not have the dog. That was not
My
Right.
brain, for some reason, didn't put the pieces together initially when I saw the name. But this is actually one of the first games I played on the Quest.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's
wow.
a great game.
Cool. Another game that we talked about, or we didn't talk about, but another game that brought our attention was, and this game is not a new game. It was new for PS5 users. It's called Chernobyl Light. And it's basically based in Chernobyl during the same disaster that actually happened, but more of playing out some lore of like the scientists and things that were, during that time. And it's a psychological horror. So there's a lot of obviously radiation. There's a lot of things going on there, but there's also very much like some ghosts that they see, that they think they see, and then some actual players that they actually see. And this is a single player game, not like actual multiplayer or anything, but very cool looking game. But the whole point was they were there because they just released, actually on Thursday, the first day we were there officially, they had just released their game on PS5 for next gen, this now gen.
Well, and it wasn't just
series.
PS5. They because the PC has been out for like 6 months, but since they released the next gen for PS5, that they also released those updated assets for PC as well. So PC actually got updated as well.
And so it was really cool watching. I didn't get to actually play this one there. They were obviously very busy. This booth was like one of the few that were like on time slots. Like, you want to play? Let me sign you up for Saturday or Sunday at a certain time because like we're booking out, which is respectfully fine
for press. Otherwise,
well, but even or you can wait in line, which I mean the line was pretty jamming. So really cool watching people play and just the aesthetic of it. Like I said, I like games like this. This is kind of like right in my wheelhouse. And one thing they did, we actually talked to the producer that was there. Her name was Olga, and she said basically like obviously the next gen just came out, but one of the big things is that they're going to continue pushing out new DLC for this game in the future, and it would continue to be free for everybody that has the game. So that was really cool to hear.
I think they said DLC would be coming out later this year.
Yeah. So they were like, yep, we're going to keep pushing it out. It's all free. We just want to make sure that like the players experience it and have a good time and yada, yada, yada. So really cool. I would say check that out. If you haven't played it yet, you can pick it up on PC, but obviously now you can pick it up on PS5 and such. So really fun.
So there was this other game that I got to play there, and it is not released like those other two, or other three that we've talked about, but is something you can pick up the demo and you can play right now. And somehow Mike missed this game, even though on the side of the booth was this giant 2-story tall inflated spider.
I mean, I saw the spider. I just didn't realize. I thought that was part of like Tiny Build, like their logo. So I was just like, oh, it's just their booth. But no, this was literally for this game.
Yeah. Tiny Build has a giant spider. Yes. Yes. Oh God, go and get this demo off Steam and play it, because even though the demo is locked to local only, you can use Steam's remote play and you can actually play it remotely with people right now. It is a 4-player competitive, although there is some co-op on the boss rush or the rush stage.
Yeah.
Horde stage.
So I didn't get to play it.
Not right away, but he was able to join me later. But it is, again, trigger warning before I flip to this. Spiders. I cannot say spiders enough here. And it's not just spiders. It's spiders with long spiky nails that are a different color. So be aware of that. Be aware of that. And it is a 4-player game where you're bouncing around an arena. You can jump, you can swing webs. And you start with different weapons. There's rocket launchers. There's even lightsabers that bounce off of each other and these sonic guns. And
it looks so cute.
It is super fun.
So super cute.
It does look
The
really
problem I'm going to say is that when you start the play test or whatever, you start off like in a menu similar like Ultimate Chicken Horse, where you have like a place you fight around and you can like jump on the pad that you want to start that game mode. But on the very far right, there's this thing. It's like, don't go through here. It's not worth it. And then as you go through it, it's like, there's no reward. Like, stop doing it. It's a maze. And like, you constantly die trying to go through because all these things hit you, to the point yesterday, as soon as I got playing this, I was like, this is the kind of stuff that I get addicted to. And I hate this. So I tweeted at the developer and was like, I'm already addicted to this game and I'm just at the menu. Why did you do this to me? And he was just like, I'm sorry. And I just came back with him like, no, it's great. Like, it's just like, he's just like, I told you, he's like, I was in a dark place when I made that. Like, it's not worth it. And I just responded back like with Fry, like doing the eyes, like, and that was it. Like, we had that moment of just conversation, but it was funny because like, it's super fun. We did get to play for like a few seconds and it was pretty fun.
Yeah. Highly recommend that game.
So I know that we've been talking about games that we saw at PAX. Obviously, that's something that we just experienced. So there were some things we want to talk about. I know Bruno has actually been up to some other things, not necessarily gaming, but very interesting as well. So
yeah, so I've actually I got into Lego like towards the tail end of 2021, and I actually just recently took a decently long break. For me, I've taken like a month-long break from games to build.
That's crazy.
Kits.
That's crazy.
And it is pretty crazy for me. And so this last 2 weeks, I had bought the Imperial Star Destroyer collector builder Lego kit, and I finished it right before you guys went to PAX, technically, or like right after.
Yeah, he's actually reporting right now from the Imperial Star Destroyer.
From the Imperial Star Destroyer. So those of you who are listening can't see it, but for those of you that are watching, this is the Imperial Star Destroyer.
That
it's
is like, I saw this earlier before we went live, and even now looking at this again, I cannot even fathom how ridiculously big this thing is.
It's like
huge.
The width of it is wider than Bruno's shoulders.
Yes.
Like,
it's massive. It's 4 foot long, and it's got to be like 2.5, 3 feet wide.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Dude.
So for comparison, like, he has the AT-AT on his desk behind him, which, if you're familiar with Legos, like, that's a pretty big build. Like, it's, it stands up pretty tall. Like, it's on his desk. It's a pretty nice looking, Lego. And this thing makes that thing look tiny. Like, I cannot believe how massive. Like, even him holding this in a chair right now, I feel like he's gonna, like, it's holding a desk. Like, this is like, it's insane.
Chat's blowing up. Venus White Star says that she wants it. And then Secret
Are
Asian.
you sure she's
Asian
talking
man.
about the Star Destroyers? There's something else that she wants of Bruno's.
I'm pretty sure. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure she can take whatever she wants. And
Yeah.
Secret Asian man says, as asking how many hours did it take you, Bruno?
It took me probably all in all, maybe 26 hours.
26 hours. So you didn't sleep for 26 hours. Because I know how you know life video games, so I'm guessing
No,
you probably did.
I did have to sleep, so it was like, for my job, it was a release week. It was a pretty big week for us, I should say. So like, I had to sleep. So
Yeah.
technically, I was wrong. I didn't finish on Thursday. I finished it when I came back from South Carolina. Now that I'm thinking about it, I had it almost done, and I had just the top part of the command deck that was not completed.
So what do you got? What do you got next? What do you got this?
I was going to say, yeah, what's next?
I'm
Well, let me
literally
ask you, how
looking
many
at Lego
boxes was
bags. There's Lego bags right there in the background.
So that's actually the bag from the Imperial Star Destroyer. The next one is probably
bag?
going to be. They give you
That's a
really
big bag.
large.
That's a big
that's a
bag.
big
Oh,
bag.
I have the really large bags. But
That's
I
a
don't-
body bag.
Yeah,
Like,
I could fit in that
the
bag.
Millennium Falcon doesn't fit
You
in
could,
the bag.
I could sit in that bag, and somebody could take me.
Yeah, they do have big bags. You can fit a body in them.
Yeah.
Oh my
Don't
God.
ask me how. I know.
On the 4th of May, they are doing another sale, or double VIP points on Star Wars kits on the Lego website. And I intend to buy the new Luke Skywalker land speeder that is coming out. It's like a 2,000 piece kit.
How many pieces is that one?
Clean. This
Like,
one,
for
funny
comparison.
enough, is only about 3,700 pieces.
Yeah,
But
it's all shell.
the pieces it's all shell, and the pieces for the exterior are very large. So it's like a really intense, like, internal rigging, and then
Yeah.
a lot of shell. Whereas
Okay.
like the AT-AT is very dense. It's like 6,000 pieces, and then
Yeah.
the Millennium Falcon, which you can't see on screen, is like 7,600 pieces.
Yeah,
But it's
and
also
both
very
of
dense.
those, and both of those have a lot of detail on the inside where the
Yeah.
Star Destroyer doesn't.
The Star Destroyer
Right.
is just an empty husk.
That is still impressive.
Husk.
Wow. Well, we can't wait to see the next piece of your Lego journey. And also, actually, if you're listening and you're not already a part of our Discord, you should do that. We do have a Lego channel that we do post, or not me personally, but I know Phoenix has done stuff in the past. Mirren's posted good stuff on there.
I intend to post the entire progress picture set. I take pictures after every single stage of a build.
And Mike, there
So-
are special things you need to do to be part of the Lego. It's part of a lot of the channels. If you want to just kind of quickly. go through
yeah,
that.
that's a good point.
Yeah,
So
'cause
when
I
you
did
do
get this
sign
question
up,
earlier today.
yeah, so when you do sign up for our Discord, you're going to be presented with a whole lot of nothing, except two channels, one that says guidelines and one that says find us. And then the guidelines is the channel you want to go to first, and that channel is basically going to tell you our terms of service, essentially what our rules and what we live by, kind of thing, our code of conduct. And there's a little high five you have to high five, and basically once you do that, it unlocks the server for you. But scroll past that. So we have a lot of other channels that are basically hidden for most people, unless you want to be a part of it. Because one thing that we all hate is like going to a Discord, and there's just so much stuff that you're kind of overwhelmed and you don't know where to start. And there's things that you may just not be into. So there's ones if you're like into PS3 or PS5. If you have a PS5 or Sony, you can highlight that one. You'll see the PS5 information, or we can tag you in news that's related to that certain platform. There's also, we have like a fitness channel. We have like a tabletop channel. There's like this Lego channel is one of them. So there's just different channels you can basically opt in for. And that way you can see the information that you do want to see and not see all this other stuff that you don't really care about. So. But yeah, good point. I never mentioned that before, but that is something just to kind of help the clutter. Because like I said, I know how some servers are. It's like really terrible to try to find anything because you're just like, oh my God, there's so much stuff. And you just kind of leave because you don't know where to start. So interesting enough. So this brings us to the point in the show where we talk about why this title is called This One Is Special, because I said, got our attention, this one is special. No, it's not our 2-year anniversary, because we said that would be episode 52. But that is going to be kind of changing now. because of the timing. So basically, so we have some news for you guys. This is for everybody. So one thing that we do want to announce is after today's podcast, we're actually going to be moving to a bi-weekly podcast. So what that means for you is if you're listening currently, you're going to be able to listen to a new one most likely it'll be probably Friday the 13th, actually, for most people. And it'll be Thursday the 12th for our Patreon users. So basically, we're going to go to a bi-weekly podcast every second, like whenever the Thursday comes around. That'll be release day for Patreons, and then Friday will be released for everybody else. And that's for audio and YouTube going up. The other thing with that is we're going to be moving to a not live podcast. And I know for some of you that may be like, oh my God, this is crazy. But we all had a discussion about it. And the main thing with this is we want to kind of respect your time, right? So we've been doing this, and it's even our time too, right? Like we've been doing this for almost 2 years, like every single Thursday. And it's tough. Like we have lives and we have a job and we have to, do other things, family. And so by moving to a non-live podcast, what that'll do is give us time to obviously create better content for you guys because we'll have more time. And then essentially also you can listen to it or watch it at your own leisure. It's not like, oh my God, Thursday, I have to watch this because like that's when they're live. Now you can just listen to it and watch it when you want to on your own time. So that's some of the bigger. Maybe
you can just binge us for a little bit.
Yeah, you could.
I do with a lot of podcasts.
The other thing too is we're going to be cutting down the length of our podcast too. So we used to do 2 hours. Usually we didn't mean to do that. We just kind of rolled into like an hour and a half to 2 hour podcast. But what we decided to do is actually roll that back to about 45 to an hour. Like I said, increase the amount of quality that we're giving you guys. So in the content sense, pick something that we really want to talk about and really have some good opinions on, and then kind of give you guys back that other time that, you can use. Main thing that we talked about was the big thing that's changed in the last, 2 years since we started this podcast is most people listen to podcasts in their car and have a commute. And a lot of people don't have that anymore. So it's tough to find time to listen to a 2 hour podcast. And, we get it. We have the same problem. So again, that's relating to Got Our Attention podcast, which you're listening to currently. So that also leaves some other things out there for questions too, which is Game of the Moment. So Game of the Moment was something we also did every week, live every Tuesday. We kind of started doing trivia every other Tuesday as well, which was different. But basically, we're going to roll back Game of the Moment as well. We're not going to do those live. What we will do is we're going to end up having, you'll probably see a lot more live streaming sessions from either our individual accounts or the SAS account. So make sure to follow those and maybe a longer play session too. You may see someone play for 2 or 3 hours if they like a game, whatever. And what we're going to do is take those videos, cut down the actual content that we think is, worth it if you just want to see what the game's about, kind of come back to why we started doing Game of the Moment to start with, and roll those into a shorter format video for you to watch on YouTube. So that way you want to check out what Lego Star Wars is about. You go to the page, you can watch like a 10-minute, 15-minute video of like us playing it, our highlights and how it goes, our commentary and all that fun stuff as well. So again, that's going to also be rolled back from live as well. So not saying that you won't see us playing game streaming, because that's going to happen. It's just that the shorter format will be available as well. So it should be cool. We are going to have our interviews that we've had in the past. Interviews are still going to be a thing that we've done. We've actually reached out to a lot of developers at PAX, and I don't want to mention anything today because we don't have anything in stone yet. But just know that we do have a lot of interviews planned from some of the people we met, some big, some small, and all in between. So it'll be really fun to get those on. When necessary, they'll be part of the podcast. And then sometimes we may just have interview sessions. We're just literally just an interview because we have to get those done. Like we want to interview these people and get their game out there for you guys. So you may see some of that as well. So remainder is everything else, right? So we had the intermission, which we've always said, which is the part in between us alive where we talk about other things, waiting for everybody to get back from a drink or bathroom. And sometimes we have some really good, interesting conversations during that time. And Day Drinker's mentioned many times already that she wants to start like an intermission, like almost like a short podcast from that. And we all think it's a great idea. So that is something you'll most likely see in the future as a separate content for YouTube, a video that we may see. And along with some other great content that we're going to do actually together, like physically together in the same building, as things are starting to get better now that we can start doing that. So look forward to that. We're actually super excited. I know I'm the only one talking right now, but we've already discussed this. I've already pointed the you guys just listen. No, but it is something we've all agreed on. And like I said, our whole purpose of this is to make, obviously have fun with this, right? Like first and foremost, number one is have fun. And if we're not going to have fun, then what are we doing, right? So number one, have fun. And number two, provide great content. So if you guys like this stuff and we continue to start pushing out even better material, then, and hopefully you'll enjoy this even more and makes us better, makes you better. And it'll be a fun time. So that's pretty much it. And if anybody has any questions about trivia is still going to happen. We're still going to do that live, probably bi-weekly every 2 weeks. So trivia will still be announced. We'll still tweet about it and have that stuff going on, which will still be, I don't know if it'll be Tuesday. We'll figure out a day for it. Maybe move to Thursday. I don't know. We have plenty of room now at this point for not doing live. But yeah, that's basically the announcement. I just wanted to make that out loud so you guys can all be a part of this. We'll post a new community update here on our website as well. So that way you can read about it and have a little bit more in paper writing. So in case you forget and you need stuff written down, you can do that as well. But yeah, so that basically sums it up. And this is, the normal stuff at the end of the podcast, which is if you want to send us an email, goa@sasgaming.com. Check out our website, sasgaming.com. You can also check out our Patreon, patreon.com/sasgaming. And quickly on those Patreon users or subscribers, you guys are still going to get the same stuff that you've already got. Like nothing's really going to change for you. So I just want to let you know that, if anything, you're going to get more content now at this point. So, which is exciting. So, yeah, so that's got our attention this week. We can't wait to show you our new format and new stuff coming forward. And until next time, you guys take care, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
Bye.
See ya.